Hi class, I'm going to go over the Unit 1 exam review. Your test is tomorrow. So the first part of the test is the performance task. So number 1 is the show me your sign activity. We are going to model the following and then we're going to state the solution, which means answer. In the show me your sign activity, we learned how to model using the number line and counters. So this is the first part. So the first example is -5 plus -3. You can use an open number line if you want, but I'm going to use tick marks to show this. So I need to show -5 there. So you can start here at -5 or just start like this. We have -5. Then we're going to add on more negative and -3. So adding a -3 means you're going to go left more. You're not going to go right more because you're adding to go downward or left. So you need to go back 3 more. 1, 2, 3. So you go 1, 2, 3. And what is that number? It's -6, -7, -8. Okay? So we know that this will get us to -8, and that is your answer. I'll be looking for the answer, and I'll be looking for the work. The solution and work. The next one is the counters model. The counters models deal with positive and negative circles. It looks like those little counters that we use during class. So we need 18. This is a positive 18 counters, and this will be -7 of these counters. So let's do 18 positives. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. You can always double check. There's 5, there's 5, 5, and 3. So 5, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18. So there's 18 positives, and there's 7 negatives. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we represented both counters already. Okay, the reason why we put them from vertically from the first problem and underneath is because we can actually take the positive and the negatives and make it a 0 pair, because a positive and a negative actually make a 0. So this is another 0. Here's another 0. All these zeros. And you can see here there are 7 0 pairs, which means nothing. We don't need any of these. And this is our leftover amount. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And since there's 11 of the positive ones, we have the answer being positive 11. There's no negatives there. So I will be looking for the work, and I'll be looking for the 11, the answer. Okay. The next task that we did as a class is hot air balloons. We need to explain the scenario, and we also need to find the final destination. Okay, with hot air balloons, you have to remember our analogy of the hot air balloon. And remember, there's 2 types. There's gas bags. So the gas bags will actually help it move up. So these are gas bags. And then you also have sandbags. Oh, let me move it over. Sandbags that help it move down. I think I use gas bags like this too. I also made it look like a little cloud. Okay. So remember, we start here. This is talking about adding. And we also talk about what kind of bag this is. And since this is negative, it's going to be a sandbag. So we start. I will start at -3. Okay, then I will add, and this is sandbags. I want you to say 10 sandbags. Then I will add 10 sandbags. So if you're at -3, let's say you're at -3 and you go down 10 more, if you count down using the vertical number line, you'll get your final destination of -13. So the final destination is that -13 because you're going down more, because adding sandbags will bring you down. Okay, B. This is where we start. Remember, this tells us that we are subtracting. And this tells us it's negative, so it's not a gas bag. It will be a sandbag again. So this is where you start. I will start at 5. Then I will subtract 3 sandbags. You can see here that subtracting sandbags will actually help you go up. The reason why it'll help you go up is you're taking away something that's weighing you down. So since this will actually mean adding, you can do 5 plus 3, which is 8. So my final destination is 8. Some of you put, I will add gas bags. That's fine too. So if you change this to 3, adding 3 gas bags, I will accept the answer as well. Okay, let's move to the other page. Part 3, we're going to be adding and subtracting. I want to just make it known that adding, subtracting does not require the rules of the Illuminati. A lot of you forgot that, so it's actually just for multiplying and dividing. So please make sure you draw that right away on your test, that you only use this rule with all of this with multiplying, dividing. Adding, subtracting, we do not use those rules because there's multiple answers when you add and subtract negative and positive numbers. So first off, we know that 2 negatives will actually be a positive because you're taking away sandbags, which actually means you're adding. So that's 17 plus 3 is 20. Next one, this is -4 minus a negative. Minus a negative means, hey, we know that means adding. So it's -4 plus 15. So it's 15 and -4. You know they're different signs. Since they're different signs, you subtract. And you subtract, you get 11. And since the positive is bigger, it's positive 11. We have here 2 decimals. We have 8.5 and 14.72. Since they're the same, we can add them. So I'm going to put 8.5 over here. And we will need a placeholder, which means there's nothing here. So we need to put that 0 there so we don't just scoot the 8.5 over. Now, same sign means we add. So 2 plus 0 is 2. 7 plus 5 is 12. 4 plus 1 is 5. Plus 8 is 13. And that's 2. So that's 23.22. And since they're both positive, it stays positive. Okay, D. We can rewrite it as 3 1/3 minus 1 1/2. We can write it vertically. We've been representing it vertically lately. You need to have common denominators. So you can see here, they would both go into 6. You multiply the big 1. Remember, this is a big 1. It's a big 1. So this becomes 2 times 1 is 2, 1 times 3 is 3, and this is 3 and 1. You transfer that over. And then 2 cannot subtract 3, so you have to borrow from here. So you borrow from the 3, make that a 2, and you add 6 more, because remember, this is adding 1 is the same thing as adding 6 over 6. Which means, since you took away 1 and added 1, this is now 2 and 8 over 6. I'm going to rewrite it over here just to have more space. So that's 2 and 8 over 6 minus 1 and 3/6. Now we can subtract. 8 minus 3 is 5 over 6, and that's 2 minus 1 is 1. So our answer is 1 and 5/6. Here we're going to subtract again. I can do a different approach. You're more than welcome to use this method. You can also just get common denominators. You can multiply this by 2. That's negative 10 over 2. And then make this improper. So this method is keeping the whole numbers separate from the fraction. This one's getting all of them improper. 2 times 1 plus 1 is 3 over 2. Negative 10 plus 3 is negative 7 over 2. Remember, this is negative 10 halves plus 3 halves. That's why it's going to be negative 7 halves. 2 goes into 7 3 times. 2 goes into 7 3 times. And there's that remainder 1 when we subtract those. So that's in 1/2. And do not forget that negative sign. Okay, here we have negative 5 minus another 5. This is tricky because it looks like the answer would be 0. But if you think about it, you have here negative 5, and you're going down 5 more, you're going to be at negative 10. They're the same sign technically, because you can put, plus negative. Negative 5 plus a negative 5. Okay. Next problem. We're going to use the Illuminati now in part C, because you are now multiplying and dividing positive and negative numbers. So you multiply these two. 8 times 9 is 72. And using the Illuminati, we know it's positive and a negative. So your answer, you cover up the positive and negative, it's going to be a negative 72. Same rules apply. Negative 56 divided by 7. Well, using your multiplication chart, you know that it would be 8, because 56, 7 goes into it 8 times. And using the same rules, it's a negative and a positive. You cover up positive and negative, you get a negative 8. We have here a decimal problem. It's 2.15 times 3. We have to make it vertical. It's in your notes. That's step 1. 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4. 3 times 2 is 6. And you bring it over twice, because that's twice. That's none. So you bring it over 2 decimal places. 2. Over here now, we have to multiply. The first step is to make it improper. 4/9 times 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3 over 2. Remember, we can cross multiply. This is 1 and this is 3. Right here, this is 1 and this is 2. We get 2/3. This 2 goes into it once and 2 goes into this twice. Here, we have to change it into improper. 5 times 4 is 20 plus 2 is 22 over 5. And when we divide a fraction, it's the same thing as multiplying the opposite, the reciprocal, the inverse. So you can also cancel this. You can see the same rules applies here. We can do cross cancel. We get 22 over 3. 3 goes into 22 7 times. And that looks like a, remainder 1 out of 3. Okay, here. We can use the Illuminati. Just take 2 at a time. Negative 5 times negative 2. Well, I know that 5 times 2 is 10. Negative and a negative, I can see that's going to be a positive. So this is a positive.